Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Joe Tossi from TechTables.com, and you're listening to the Public Sector Show by TechTables. This podcast features human-centric stories from public sector CIOs, CISOs, and technology leaders across federal, state, city, county, and higher education. You'll gain valuable insights into current issues and challenges faced by top leaders. Through interviews, speaking engagements, live podcast tour events, we offer you a behind-the-mic look at the opportunities top leaders are seeing today. And to make sure you never miss an episode, head over to Spotify and Apple Podcasts and hit that follow button and leave a quick rating. Just tap the number of stars that you think this show deserves. Welcome to the Public Sector Show by TechTables. Super excited to have you both here.
Tyler Horning. I've been in this industry for 25 plus years. I'm General Field Account Manager for SolarWinds, so handling all the SolarWinds portfolio for public sector for the Midwest. And from a fun fact standpoint, I'm a pretty kid-centered. I spend a lot of time with the kids and making sure they're all good. And try to get out and fish and boat as much as I can. But
love it. What are the ages of your kids?
Our youngest is 19, my daughter, the middle one's 23, and the oldest is 26, daughter boy.
Okay, nice, awesome. And where do you live? Actually, I have zero
clue. Omaha, Nebraska.
Omaha,
Nebraska, yeah. Been all over the United States. Went to school in Colorado and lived in Dallas, lived in Chicago, but yeah, about the last 20 years or so I've been in Omaha.
You know I shouldn't say favorite. One of the coolest people that lives in Omaha, Nebraska, Warren Buffett, right?
Yeah.
Does he live there? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, we bump into him every now and then, and spend a lot of time with Susie Buffett, actually.
Okay, nice. Yeah, that's awesome. Big Warren Buffett fan. Haven't been to the
Brookshire?
Yeah.
Oh,
I want to.
Do it.
I know. It's on my list.
Kathy Hausmann. I am the Director of Digital Infrastructure and Support Services at St. Mary's College. I've been at St. Mary's for 23 years, and my job role has changed over the years, but I've always been front-facing customer support and tech support, and that's really where my heart is as all of my job responsibilities have changed. I am a huge Star Wars fan, and I'm married and have a daughter that's 19 years old.
She also a fan?
Not as big as I am. She is a Disney fan, though.
Okay.
So.
Nice. Favorite Star Wars character?
The Millennium Falcon.
The Millennium Falcon? That's your favorite character?
That is my favorite character.
I was going to ask what is your favorite movie, but...
Do you stand, like, when you go to Disney, then you go to Disneyland, do you stand in front of the Millennium Falcon? Are you that woman who's, I've made it, and there's like the Chewbacca. Have you seen the giant Millennium Falcon?
I have been there. I have done the picture with my arms raised, and I have been photobombed by Chewbacca in front of the Millennium Falcon.
Nice. That's awesome. My family, we really like Ahsoka. So one time, family was in some different park. I went to go get some food, crazy line. I ended up walking through Star Wars land, run into Ahsoka, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I gotta get a picture. She's like, no, so I end up talking to her, and she's like, oh, this is crazy. Let's do a video for your wife and kids. And I'm like, okay. So she's like, hey Jamie, hey Jack, hey Annabelle, it's me, Ahsoka. And I sent it to my wife, and she just is losing it. She runs back over, where is she? And I'm like, oh, she's gone now. That was like 30 minutes ago, babe. Yeah, anyways, big fan. Really like the Star Wars too. I gotta ask, what's your favorite movie?
A New Hope.
A New Hope, okay. Yeah. New Hope. Any of the animated ones?
I actually haven't watched the animated one.
Clone Wars?
I started Clone Wars, but I didn't get all the way through it yet. Disney Plus is a wonderful thing to catch up.
Yeah, Disney Plus is fantastic. Next to Star Wars, Bluey, and at least for the 6-year-old, is a big one. It's a big one right now. So we're gonna turn it, if we can, to on the tech side. But so you've got this incredible transformation story. You mentioned, I think just off camera, that you've been there or the help desk for about the last 10 years. You've had a lot of time to refine it, which is fantastic. Walk us through that journey. What did it look like in the beginning to where you are in almost 2025?
We have two areas of support. We have ResNet, which provides student tech support, and we have the help desk, which is faculty staff support. When I walked to the doors to St. Mary's, the student support was literally tracked by Post-it notes and voicemails. And I was horrified. So that was the first thing I did. The first month I was there, I wrote a tracking system in HTML, CDML, FileMaker Pro backend, so that we had something to actually work, track, follow up with students, record what issues were, so we had a way to find out, oh, we keep having this problem, how do we fix it in the future? And we outgrew what I wrote, and I was looking for something new. The help desk on the same side was outgrowing their freeware help desk software. And it was like, okay, what can we use that might help both? So I asked the support team to give me their wish list of features that they wanted, use that list, narrowed down software that was available at the time, and found Web Help Desk. And I didn't get the buy-in to purchase it for the help desk and the IT staff, but I did get the approval to get it for ResNet because that's much smaller and it didn't involve the IT staff. It was just me and my student staff. And we implemented it. We went live over spring break in 2014, and we haven't looked back. It's worked. It's been solid. And it gives us the ability to look at and track problems, but we also use the FAQ feature. So when students are reporting problems, we can actually have information pop up right in front of them on the screen, say, here's some troubleshooting tips. So they might not even have to finish asking for help. We've given them the answer. And then after that was a successful rollout, the following July, we implemented it for our faculty staff help desk.
So heading into 2025, what's the next generation of the help desk? How are you thinking about this as technology is just changing so quickly, expectations are changing?
There's a couple of things that we did very intentionally at the start with not having faculty and staff submitting their own tickets. The students do. And some of that is just because of time response. We don't want somebody in a classroom, in the middle of a class, submitting a ticket. We want them to call us. We want to drive that traffic to the fastest response method.
Okay.
But things are changing.
Yeah.
Should we revise that? And when I implemented Web Help Desk for our faculty and staff, I built it knowing that we could go down that path. We just had to have other systems in place for that immediate response before we could turn it on.
Yeah.
The student support's been great.
Love it.
Students, they can fill out the form, they know how to do it, it's easy, they get immediate feedback, and we can respond very quickly to anything they ask for.
On the response side, are the students the one they're running it too? Do you have students in place or?
So our ResNet support for students is entirely student run.
Love it.
We've got staff members who supervise, but they are our frontline support. Same with the faculty staff help desk. It's students on that front line. It's students answering the phone. It's the students answering the emails.
I love that. Okay, now I'm just curious, so just bear with me. So I imagine when I think about workforce pipeline, providing tangible skills for these students, what does that look like after that?
I have been so fortunate to work with some amazing students who were able to use the experience they've had working in our IT department at ResNet, at Help Desk, and go on to great jobs. I have a programmer at JP Morgan Chase. I've got a Google engineer, former students of mine doing great things because they learned on the front lines, the customer service side. So while they're learning programming, they are also learning and understanding how to solve the problems and know what people are going to ask, what they're not going to understand. So they're seeing that other side of what they're programming, which is very valuable.
Okay, that's fantastic. So Tyler, let's shift to partner side.
Mm-hmm.
Can you speak to the ROI, how SolarWinds is partnering with St. Mary's College, what it looks like, especially with your background and experience?
Sure. Web help desk, user experience, support services, they're nebulous. So it's hard to put it, ROI, like an actual number against it. We find a better measurement is a time to value. And so it was timely, this particular conversation, is that we did a survey not very long ago across a bunch of higher ed and universities, and I got a lot of feedback. And so we were asking around time to value, and typically we see 23, 24 days past implementation seeing it. Some of the respondents came back and said we're seeing value within 5 days. If you have to put an ROI on it, because that was one of the questions, they said 51% came back with a 1x or a 2x their investment, with 17% coming back with a 3x of their investment. That's all good in technology world.
Nice. Curious, I'm sure this isn't the only college you work with. Are there some similarities that you've seen across your portfolio at SolarWinds?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Understaffed, lack of funds, lack of support, not very good user experience. Your staff isn't trained professionally. You have to do that internally and work it. Yeah, it's a common struggle for everybody.
Okay.
It's not limited to campuses.
Kathy, we talked about a little bit of the hard numbers, but we'll go with the soft side of the reporting. that you mentioned just in ticket submissions. How has that really impacted at the student level? Because I imagine the response time, students submit tickets, it's also student run. It's got to be fun to see the students start clicking where they start figuring it out, and then they can start nailing down some of those submission tickets a lot quicker, a lot sooner. Can you just maybe talk about that process of how you're driving improvement in that area?
At the moment, nearly 50% of our tickets are resolved within one day.
Okay.
And I can do those stats because web help desk. But we do get a lot of walk-in traffic, phone traffic, where the student walks in and our student staff can help them on the spot. And if they don't know what the problem is, they can look at previous tickets, say, oh, we've seen this problem before, this is the answer. So even if it wasn't that student who's seen that problem before, they know and they can look up that information. It's a very friendly interface for them. The emails, the students don't answer directly, but they have to be kept aware of what we're telling students. So when they come onto their shifts, they can sign in and look at the tickets and they can see what's been done and they can see, oh, these are the problems that are happening right now. So that if somebody comes to the door and, oh, yes, we're having a problem with this right now, let me help you. They know what that ticket du jour is.
No, that's really good. Tyler, on the kind of the innovation side, email notifications, custom workflows, a lot of that stuff from the case study that I gleaned quickly. It looked like it was like a pretty good game changer. Walk us through how higher ed universities in your portfolio are leveraging some of the other technical capabilities of web workflow.
Mentioned it right off the bat, right? We've spent a lot of time in the self-help portal, right? Being able to have students for common questions, common issues, being able to address it themselves, and being able to take care of it in a very timely fashion, right? IT is hard no matter what, and to make it easy and to make it usable is a big thing. Another area that we spend a lot of time with is the automated traffic flow and escalations. Getting the right problem to the right person at the right time is pretty crucial. And then developing a lot of time and effort around the knowledge base. We have a lot of very common questions. They're all asked differently, but the resolution is usually the same. And being able to get to that resolution very quickly is extremely helpful. And then reporting and analytics, right? Being able to see IT trends, being able to see performance, how things are going, being able to have data-driven decisions, and being able to leverage that and fold it back in to make everyone's user experience better.
No, that's fantastic. Kathy, I want to go into the scaling of the staff, recruiting the students, I'm sure that's got to be tough initially. How do you source the students? How do you pitch this to them? How do you build that pipeline?
Well, I'm interested in this one too.
We recruit, we hang posters on campus, we send emails, we use word of mouth, we have our own students reach out to their friends. We go to certain departments and say, will you talk about this to your classes? This is a great opportunity, not just for a campus job, but for the opportunities it gives you for your resume and for other things. And so we work with that. We have small student staff. We've got less than a half dozen students working in ResNet. We've got about a half dozen students working in help desk. So we want them to be able to pick up the tool quickly, learn it, be comfortable with it, because honestly, if it's not something that they feel they can use, feel comfortable with it, they're not going to want to use it, and then they're not going to want to work for us.
Yeah.
It works both ways. They have to be happy with the tool, and then we have to get the benefits.
What does the training program look like? How have you structured that?
We bring the students back the Sunday before classes start, and they do training that Sunday afternoon and evening, training all day Monday, training all day Tuesday. Wednesday we do a half day, and then we give them a half day off. And we usually try to do some kind of social activity to make it fun. And then we have orientation weekend.
Okay.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I tell the students, that is training. That is a part of training. They're not let loose. They're going to see, though, everything they're going to see in an academic year over the course of those 4 days.
Yeah.
All the networking questions, all of the, I'm locked out of my email, how do I do this, how do I do that? It all hits in those first 4 days. And then we have the first week of classes.
Yeah.
Which is then a different set of problems. How do I get to my online textbooks? How do I do this? How do I do that? My professor wants me to be able to access this. How do I do it? And we're showing them things that really only happen in that first or second week of classes every semester.
Yeah.
And then by that point, they're trained.
Okay.
They can face anything, or they know how to look up the information.
Yep.
And one of the important things we cover in training is that it's okay to say, I don't know, let me ask my supervisor.
Then they call Tyler, right?
Sure.
No, they don't call Tyler.
Because I would much rather them ask somebody than to do the wrong thing and break it further.
Okay. Tyler, how often do you get a chance to come on campus?
We try to get on campus as much as we can, right? We're stretched thin like everybody else, so leverage as much technology as we can, but very happy to come and visit with anybody. The whole point of the web help desk and service and support is communication and making sure that the users and what they're trying to do to support it, and everyone has very clear communication of what their expectations are and trying to meet those. Same thing from us, from manufacturers. We want to make sure what you think or what you need and what we have are aligned. So usually you can do that with better over a handshake and a desk than a webcam.
Nice. So I'm curious, I'm hoping Tyler doesn't kill me, but hey.
Bring it.
So Kathy, I'm interested, what's your wish list for Tyler? What's missing that you would want? He's on camera so you can hold him to it.
You can hold him to it?
Yeah.
All ears are on.
What's your wish list? If you could wave a magic wand, what is it that you would love in this product?
The one thing I would love, it's a feature that we're using in Web Help Desk.
Okay.
It's the frequently asked questions. So students can fill out their own ticket and say, I need help with, and then select from the pop-up. And then it pops up the frequently asked questions and says, or, here's the answers. Here's the troubleshooting tips. Try this first. So we have no idea how many people start filling out a ticket, get the FAQ, see the troubleshooting tips, try them, and then abandon their ticket. Like, how many people did we help without actually needing to communicate with the person? So that's what's missing. And I think that's probably very hard to figure out, but it would be great to know
Between
because then
surveys or something, or I don't know. We'll have to. Yeah.
That's what we're talking. If you're the product team from SolarWinds watching this is a great.
Daniel, we got some work to do.
Yeah. No, every software does. So yeah, but I think when you have a customer on, this is like so fascinating. I do this all the time for myself. And my customer is, we'll just call it basically CXOs who are coming on the podcast, but just intimately understanding. I'm always asking questions like, if you could do this, you could do that, or what do you want from the podcast? Or I also host a private community of CXOs, and so I'm always constantly picking brains from folks. And I always think about things as like building a product, continuously. And so not Tyler's job. I'm not putting that pressure on Tyler. If you're the product team listening, this is a great one. We'll clip and he can just send it and maybe they'll know. So help desk technology is evolving very quickly. I know we've got the foundation, but I'm curious, Tyler, is there any future plans? You can kind of speak to the vision of it, but I'm curious internally if there's any Gen AI integration. I'm just spitballing at this point, but I'm just curious if there's anything like that.
As a general rule, we don't talk about futures or new product releases until they're actually out. We keep that pretty close to the chest. But what I can tell you is with the acceleration and advent of artificial intelligence and machine learning, specifically around the knowledge bases and being able to apply those knowledge bases to specific things as quick as possible, and then deeper, more native integrations with currently deployed infrastructure, so you don't have to do all these workarounds. And so with all these things coming together at a very rapid rate, it's exciting times, I guess I'll just say that.
Yeah. I haven't dived into the product, but what this reminds me most similar in a different area of public sector would be a lot of the student-run SOCs, so the security operations centers, where they have junior analysts, and a lot of them they're leveraging AI to help find and spot, and which I was thinking, oh, hey, you know what? This is probably the next generation of whatever that is. And I know probably every company on the planet is
being able to apply very large, complex decision trees and make it humanly easy.
Yeah, and just on your data, so it's not hallucinating at the bar, doing something crazy. Yeah, so anyway, so I work with high school students, and so coaching basketball, and so I'm constantly talking with them, constantly meeting with them, even the ones that have graduated that kind of come back, I'm constantly just picking their brains. So I always love the kind of on the ground, because those students will start to point you of, oh, hey, we would love XYZ or whatever. And so that's the product guy.
As we all have kids, right? And I see a lot is Kids don't want to call the help desk. Kids don't want to open up a ticket. Kids don't want to go talk to the Genius Bar at Apple. They just want it fixed. And so there's a little bit of a maturity there.
Yeah. No, this is great. Is there anything else that you would want me to bring up that I haven't brought up already? Because I don't know it as well as you.
We've been fortunate. We've been able to do a lot of customization with Web Help Desk to really meet our campus culture. And it's set up and it's designed to work with students in mind. If a student doesn't respond after a couple of times, we have a 3 strikes category in the software so that we know, okay, one more time we'll try to get a hold of them and then we'll close it because it's probably resolved. They just don't want to contact us because they don't.
Just want it fixed.
They just want it fixed. It was fixed. Problem's taken care of. I don't need to reply anymore. Help desk side, it's employees. We can take a different approach. We can make it automated.
Yeah.
If we contact them, we can set it. We've got a category with programming behind it, waiting for response. If we don't hear from them, it sends a reminder. It sends another reminder. Sends another reminder. Great, close the ticket. Because they're an employee, they can actually deal with the automation. And that's part of that campus culture, high touch, taking care of the students versus, okay, did your banner problem get fixed? You can just reply to the email and say, yep, it's fixed, or you can ignore the email and we'll close it. No, little things like that the customizations really work so we can make it our own. And that's what I like about it.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's really popular about Web Help Desk is being able to customize it for the library or for students or for faculty or staff, and each experience is different and it requires a different level of support. And having the same guy being able to move through all those users.
I love that. That seems like it's a ton of fun. So the next time, if Tyler comes to me and goes, hey Joe, I want to come on the podcast, I'm going to go, okay, we're going to meet. I also want a demo so I can play around with it. That way I always get to know the products or whatever it is as much as I can as one person, but I'm pretty curious. So I always love poking around and diving into the kind of that experience. But I love the stuff you highlighted with the students, just how mission focused you are with supporting them, helping them. Seems like Tyler is a great partner. That case study, how old is that case study?
I don't know, actually.
Super. Yeah, it's been quite a while,
4 years?
at least.
Maybe 4 or 5 years? Okay. And you were still coming on with Tyler from SolarWinds, which means this has got to be a great relationship.
Yes, customer retention and happiness.
Yeah. There's a KPI. Yeah. No, this is fantastic. I love this. As we start to close out, Tyler, if you could give one piece of advice to one of Kathy's students who are in the program, what advice would you give to them as they're a kind of up and coming college student?
That is a tricky question, right? It's absorb as much as you can, really understand what your peers and what the infrastructure, or not the infrastructure, but the organization is doing and how they're doing it, and get a little bit broader view. It's a life lesson they'll be able to take with them even outside of help desk or anything else. It's a good thing to learn, to understand a flow and understand where you spend your time and how you resolve things, and understanding other people's problems and then being able to help them do that. But training students and helping them and finding a path for them, that's amazing. Many university students don't have that, and that's a great thing.
I love that. Kathy, same question. What advice would you give to one of the students that's going through the program right now?
Actually, I'd like to expand that. Any student should look at working in IT because those skills are, you can take them anywhere. You take an education major and have them work at the help desk and they're learning troubleshooting, customer support, things like that they're going to encounter in a classroom. Nursing majors, I love hiring nursing majors. They're learning troubleshooting while they're going through school. This is a different application, but it's the same thought process. I have
Collect symptoms and formulate a result.
our math and computer science students, our dual degree engineering students. Again, it's that path of doing the programming and then actually interacting with the customer on the other end to see how what you're programming is affecting people. What is that process? Seeing all of it. It's a great job for any student in any discipline. And I'm speaking from experience. I worked in IT as a student, and I'm a philosophy major.
That's a great story.
Thank you for coming on the Public Sector Show by TechTables. I know it was super last minute, but it was still fun hanging out with the two of you. And I had a ton of fun.
It was fun.
Looking forward to releasing this. And one of my favorite things to do is whenever I'm traveling to whatever certain cities I go to every year, I would love to visit. Last year I threw an event at the University of Texas here, San Antonio, and I got to visit the students, the SOC and everything. But yeah, if I'm in town, I'd love to see the students, love to visit the help desk.
We'd love to have you.
Oh, love it. Awesome. Yeah.
If you make it to Omaha for Brookshire, I'll walk you around Omaha, show you all the spots.
Yeah, take me to that McDonald's with Warren, and yeah, no, that'd be great. Well, thank you for coming on the show. Really appreciate you both.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Joe.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Joe Tossi from TechTables.com, and you're listening to the Public Sector Show by TechTables. This podcast features human-centric stories from public sector CIOs, CISOs, and technology leaders across federal, state, city, county, and higher education. You'll gain valuable insights into current issues and challenges faced by top leaders. Through interviews, speaking engagements, live podcast tour events, we offer you a behind-the-mic look at the opportunities top leaders are seeing today. And to make sure you never miss an episode, head over to Spotify and Apple Podcasts and hit that follow button and leave a quick rating. Just tap the number of stars that you think this show deserves.